Nick, how's it going, man? So let me first apologize. There might be some crying in the background. I tried to pick a time to record that was just before things gonna get crazy as the kids go down for sleep or for bed. First off, man, thank you for telling me about your dad's diagnosis. I really appreciate that trust, and absolutely, it's confidential. Stay between you and me. Um, Let me know if there's anything I can do. I mean, on our part, we'll keep your dad and your family in prayer, and certainly as things go on, just keep me abreast of how much or what what the important things are for. Sorry, let me phrase that better. Keep me posted on what's coming down the pipeline. It doesn't have to be in great detail, but if you have to tell me like, hey, I can't train this week, or I'm gonna miss a couple of days because of this, because of some things, that's totally cool. We'll plan around them, right? And let's not neglect to realize that this is a big stressor. Um, I'm really glad that you're confident he'll do well. And I hope that this whole process ends up being a lot shorter and a lot easier than um, you know um, or a lot shorter and a lot easier than perhaps we even think. Maybe this ends up being not that long at all, not that difficult. But when the word cancer is thrown into the mix, it's a big deal, right? So just keep me posted because you obviously need to uphold your obligations and care for your family. Um, and not just your dad, not just your other immediate family members, but also for Tanner. And you've got obligations, got a lot going on, plus the business, which I still need to hear about, by the way. Um, but yeah, those all have to be kept in check, and um, they are sources of stress as well. So we just want to make sure that we don't tap you out in terms of resources. And training has to fit into that equation as well. So whether we need to take a little bit from training on given days, maybe that just means calling audibles on the weight on the bar, and you've done that well in the past, or leaving out a set or two, or leaving out some accessories if we need to, or missing days of training. Obviously, that's not ideal, but it is something that can be done, especially if it means that you're going to have more in the tank for other important things, slash, you'll be able to come in for the next training day and be ready to go, that much more ready to go. That's the smarter move, especially being the case that you're a strong lifter, that even if we're in hypertrophy block or coming to the end of a hypertrophy block, you're still moving some pretty damn good weight. So we need to make sure that we account for that and just make smart decisions. But again, let me know if there's anything I can do. And we'll certainly adjust training as we go. Thank you for the footage. If I could request, please send this to me through Facebook Messenger. The quality just goes to crap through text, but it comes through crisper on Facebook Messenger. So that would be ideal. Really happy with your squats, man. Especially the first squat video that you gave me. Forget how many reps you had to do in that set. The depth looked great. Very happy with this. And let's just take a minute to appreciate the progression of your squat depth. We went back in time a year. You'd be hitting depth on some of your squats. Maybe we'll be generous and say half. The other half were borderline, or some of them were definitely high. 2019, you had the latter part of 2018, and so far in 2019, your depth has been on point. And I'm very pleased about that. Let's continue to make sure that's the norm for us, just because we leave no doubt then on the platform when we do step on it. That's fantastic. Really good. I'm also really digging how much crisper and cleaner your setup and walkout look. I can definitely tell that you're putting effort into that. You look a lot tighter when the bar comes out. The bar's not doing so much of this as you're walking. Your steps look clean and precise. You're still getting set up the way that you want to. Your elbows look like they're driven under the bar, and you're tight through the upper back. And that helps your positioning in the hole. It probably also helps you to get to depth a bit more easily. If we don't have that tension or we don't have that positioning, then it becomes harder to end up where we need to be. But these squats look very good. And even in terms of a depth discrepancy, were you a bit hot? You said you did a poor job in your single I don't think it was high. I think the depth was great. I still think your single looked good. Certainly a lot better than past singles that you've given me. Not as of late, perhaps, but going back in time, 5, 6+ months, there were some other singles that didn't look nearly as good as this one. So your squats sitting where I want it to be. I'll look forward to getting some footage of your other lifts, particularly your bench variants and your pulls. Really glad that the block pulls are feeling easy. That's the point for sure. I want this to be, I want all of your pulls off of blocks to be a special opportunity to really dial in that positioning and get those quads to do the work as we break the weight off those blocks. Just makes it easier to know what that feels like and to be locked in that position. And the intent is to have that carry over as you deadlift on the floor. I've bumped up the weight by, I think, 20 pounds or so. Excuse me. For this coming week for your block pulls, to make it just a little bit more challenging. It'll still probably be easy, but focus in on the technique. That's the point. We want to make sure that technically these are very sound. 50 bar squats, yeah, they're going to be tough for sure. I've increased the weight just by 5. As the program was written, it was supposed to go up by 10. If you're clocking in an RPE 9, I want them at most to go up by 5 pounds. Go into those ones with the mentality that you're in for a fight, because you will be. You can do this and you're going to win that fight, but it will be a fight, make no mistake. So rest up before that session, fuel up, get some good music going, and get really tight. Even though it's a safety bar and you're not having to jam your elbows underneath the barbell, you still want to get really tight in through your upper back and keep those elbows more or less pinned at your side to generate some of that tension that you would get with a regular bar. That should help you to stay in position. And as you hit the hole and you're going to turn it around, really try to drive your upper back into that bar, because it's going to want to pitch you forward. Just the camber of the bar is such that it will want to do that. That's the whole point of including it. Really drive that bar up. If it means you have to look up more than you usually do with a regular bar or with a regular squat, then do that. But drive that back into that bar hard. That's also going to help you stay in position, and it might even decrease how difficult these squats feel, these safety bar squats. But just have that in mind and prep for them. T-shirt presses definitely are tough. They're really demanding. You don't get a chance to have a break, and have any of that weight taken off of your hands by your chest when you touch it. It's all you. But I think we're going to see some good payoffs from that too. All right, man. So I think excuse me. Last thing I wanted to say is I'm really glad that you're enjoying that. Day 4, day 3, the day that reminds you of the bodybuilding days. It's good. I want that in the mix, especially if our focus is on hypertrophy for this block. I think that's not only fun, but it also helps us to expose you to this sort of these stimuli, these set and rep ranges, and these particular movements that we don't always get to expose you to when we're in the thick of a strength or a peaking block, right? So I'm glad you're enjoying it. And plus you get that nostalgia, you get a sick pump. The pump was a terrible Arnold impression. I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not re-recording this. Okay, so the program should be good to go. I'm happy with where the RPEs are. I'm happy with what the weights are for this coming week relative to how this past week went. Keep trying to sleep adequately, fuel up well prior to each session. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. Yeah, and then come next week, I'll write up a new block. We'll move into some more strength focus. But again, keep me posted on what's what and anything that you might have coming down the pipeline that might affect how training looks. And let me know again when busy season starts up at work. I think you in the later spring and into the summertime, that's really peak for you guys, if I'm not mistaken. But let me know. And I'm absolutely down. I would really love to come back up to Kawartha and just make a day of it. I think that sounds actually really great. So we'll figure out a date and time over the next month. I get to travel back to Mississauga to see my family and also to meet up with the accountant for taxes. a couple of other work things. But I think, aside from going back home, that's the big travel thing that we have to do in April. But we'll figure it out. But I really would like to come back up to Kawartha, so we'll do that. All right, man. Have a great rest of your weekend. Keep me posted as always if there's anything. The third freaking time I'm saying this, at least. Sorry if it's obnoxious now, but anything I can do, let me know. Other than that, girls are well. They're walking like nobody's business, man. It's incredible. It's also terrifying. But yeah, both girls are now they're motoring on their feet. Ashley's a freaking rock star. Yeah, we're doing well. Doing well, man. All right, brother. We'll talk soon. Have a good night.